It's the last match for the Hawks as we enter the final round, round 8 of the minor league cricket. Welcome back one more time to the DC Hawks pre-match show. Today's experts, we have Mr. Saudhan Baxi, who's been a supporter for the DC Hawks since the start, and our very own Mustapha Shirazi, who's been a part of the management for the Hawks. Well, I'm so glad to finally have both of you on our last pre-show. Obviously, we have one more game to go, but before we kind of get into the action side, to start off with Mustapha, one being on that management role as well for DC Hawks, being with us, throughout the season, obviously before as well. In your opinion, how has the DC Hawks journey been?
Oh, yeah, that's that's a tough question. First up, but again, it's been a mixed bag, Roshni. Right? We never were able to get the momentum going that we thought we'd get. Right? So every time our team won a game, it felt like some kind of complacency set in, right? And we'd lose the next game, or never got that. It's not like we've lost to any team in the Eastern Conference. We beat every team in the Eastern Conference, right? If you look at the data, we beat every team, right? And we just couldn't get that going, right? We started off well with a win in Florida. Next game, we should have won. We restricted them to a low score, but batting didn't click. So it's been a mixed bag. I don't know what to say. We're out of it right now. I guess we can look forward to next year. There were quite a few positives from the way I look at it, which came out, but we'll talk about that at some point later, I'm sure, on the show itself.
Yeah.
But season itself, mixed bag, and I'm pretty disappointed. I think I was looking for more from this team, right? We have a team full of match winners. We have a team which can, come in and anyone can win a game for this specific team, right? So I was expecting,
definitely. And I like how you kind of mentioned, I mean, we've beat every single team in this certain division, but then again, when we've played the second time, we've lost. I don't think we've beat a team twice. So that's just, I guess we were consistent in that way. Every weekend we came back winning one, came back losing one.
Yeah. I mean, we beat a team twice. We beat the New England Eagles twice, but that's because we played them 3 times.
The 3 times, yeah.
So
3 times, yeah.
So again, I'm a little bit of a data guy, right? So I look at the data and wish, we could have beaten them 3 times, right? It should have been 3-0, right?
Yeah.
There were other teams which we could have gone 2-0 against. We should have been sitting right on top of the table, at least at 40 points going into this weekend with a lot to play for, but unfortunately we're not there. But again, lessons learned, so we'll talk about that later.
Yep, definitely. And then Baxi, what has been your opinion? I know you also came to Atlanta with us and you came to the home games. So
I follow the data and scores. I just attend a couple of games, traveling games and local game. But what I found was what makes the team different, winning and average team, or champions and average team, is a consistency. So if you see the performance of our rosters, like all team players, only 2 or 3 players who were constantly, consistent. So playing one game up, second game down. So, to be champions, you have to be a consistent. And even 6 players in your team, if they perform consistent, then your team has chance to win more games.
Yep.
So that's what we were lacking. And today we got all data from our team management, all statistics for all players. And it reflects that only few players who are consistent enough to perform in each and every game, only 2 or 3 players. So that ratios, kept us down. Hope the same team or maybe whoever joins us next year get that consistency part more up. Graph of consistency should be more. And that is only possible, in my 27 years of cricket, what I have been learned from my coach and my cricketing career is cricket is a 70% mental game, 20% fitness, and 10% is chance. So fitness wise, we have a trainer, management is giving its all. Consistency comes with the use of mental application. You have to play in mind game and then make your body to perform in the ground.
Yep.
So that mental application was lacking. That's why consistency was not there.
Hmm.
Hope that comes up in the next year and we come up.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, talking about, yeah, we do have, players who are consistently performing, and a lot of the times, that really helped with the games that we did win. So who are some standout players? I'm not just saying the ones who are the top run scorers, the top wicket takers, but throughout the season, who are some standout players, maybe some players that knowing in the season, you had expectations from and they met them. So
And
Mustafa, if you want to
I
share.
would
Yeah.
I would also add, few injuries also
Yep.
led us back.
Hmm.
Because the start of tournament we got injured. Adil Bhatti got injured. Gaurav Bajaj got injured, and after even Dan Pint was injured.
DNP, yeah.
So yeah, so three main players who are in the most probably they were going to play all 11 in playing 11. So they got injured, and then we had to replace, and then we got them back. So that also affect the performance.
Hmm.
So that also considered as a we are lacking. But in our group we are not that back. I saw the statistics, like we are third or fourth, I think,
Hmm.
in the group. So we still did well, but we lacked that consistency.
Exactly.
Young players has to gain experience from this tournament, play more local games, and come up with more consistent performance. They
Hmm.
have to learn, because in playing 11 we have to keep three young players, which are the main players. So we are expecting more from them.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so I wanted to go back to, so in terms of the standout performers, the standout players for the season, who was someone that, stood out for you? So Mustafa, if you want to start off.
of course, Ladda and Ravi, they are our pros. Sunny also, and the other team player has to, local player has to come up and match them. At least even 60-70%, if they match their performance,
Hmm.
we would have win more games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
expecting more, and from youngsters and locals.
Yeah. So standout performances, Roshni, the way, as Bakshi put it, right? I think it was mainly Ladda, right? Obviously, top wicket taker in the tournament,
In
right?
the tournament, yeah.
He's been phenomenal so far, right? I know that there was one game or two games where he went for some runs, but again, this is a long tournament, and that's expected, right? It's a team, right? So Ladda has been phenomenal. Ravi is number two in the rankings, right? As Bakshi said, we had some injuries. Adil was looking good at the start of the tournament, right? He had scored well. Was looking good with the bat, looking good with the ball. He got
Hmm.
injured. He was out for 3 games. Waleed had a couple of good performances, right? Clement did well in a couple of games to finish up for us. So I think Clement did well as a keeper. He performed really well. He was really, really
He's
good.
actually the number one in terms of just fielding all the stats. So, in terms of
Yeah,
just catches everything, he's number one in the tournament.
yeah. If I remember right, he's got about 18 dismissals, right,
Mhm.
between catching and stumping. So he did a phenomenal job as a wicket keeper. And also, in games he finished for us, he finished pretty well, finished pretty strong for us. So those were areas, some positives from the team. Sunny, you know, I was hoping he had a more consistent, as Bakshi put it, the mantra was consistency, consistent performance. But there were some games where he performed really well, right? He got us off to a good start. Every time our openers and our middle order got us to about 12 or 13 overs where we
Yep.
hadn't lost more than 2 or 3 wickets, then we finished strong, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I think we had a few good performances. I felt that the team which beat the Eagles the second time around in Philadelphia, when we played them in Philadelphia, that team really looked like they were getting going. But then after that, we just immediately had injuries, right? So unfortunately, we could not field a very consistent team together. It was always like a little bit of chopping and changing. But
Yep.
we were also trying to give opportunities to our youngsters and others on the team, right? Trying to find that right balance as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, now I guess in terms of right, because we had to do a lot of like, team changes because of the injuries and, different, obviously giving everyone a chance to play, be a part of the team, because there was no player that sat out of a game. Every player in the squad has had a game. So do you think, there were some, obviously we had positives from that because we saw, even this weekend, Dalal performed, he finally we saw a great knock from him. And we saw that, from many players who came in. Neil, when he was brought in, as a replacement for Dane's injury, we saw a great performance from him. But, do you think because of that, like, we had that consistency a bit different just because there were changes? That was something that was mentioned often. So I just want to get your take, so this way we have someone who's been in the ins and outs of DC Hawks, explaining that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. See, ideally, you want to play a consistent team, right? You get to a team composition and then you stick with that composition, right? But before I forget, right, I wanted to mention, I think, Sahil Kapoor came in before I get to
Yep.
answering this. Sahil Kapoor came in for 2 or 3 games and he's done a phenomenal job, right? He's been
Yep.
really, really phenomenal. Scored a 50, scored a 30 odd in another game, right? He's
Yep.
done really well. And then, the old warrior Nasir Islam, he came in as well, right, as a replacement at one point for Adil. And every game he bowled fantastically. So, although I forgot to mention them in that original thing, as you were talking, I was thinking about it,
Yeah.
right? Those
Yeah.
guys did a phenomenal job too,
Mhm.
right? So, definitely like to mention Sahil and Nasir. But going back to the original question, yeah, absolutely, right? So, you want to have a consistent or a fixed team. But again, it's, we try to be as, we wanted to give others, players a chance as well, right? We wanted to make sure that, everyone got a chance to play. It was just not, hey, you know what, you're on the roster, but you're just sitting on the bench and not playing any games at all. And that happens with some sides, right? But I think the management decided, let's say, hey, you know what, let's give everyone a chance. Next year might be different where, once we find the right composition, we stick with that, because at the end of the day, you want to have a composition and a team set up which is consistently playing together and they know each other's strengths and weaknesses and they work well together. So, I mean, that's a lesson learned for us. But bottom line, I think from that perspective, it's just that, yeah, even the changes we did and the chopping we did and, team composition changes and trying to get the right mix, there were also other factors like the wickets, whether it was a matting
Yep.
wicket or if it was AstroTurf or whether it was turf, right? So we took
Yeah.
all those into considerations before we came up with the team.
Yeah.
And overall, I just wish, we could have had that little bit sense of urgency. There were a couple of close games which we lost, which we should have won. And if we had won, we'd have been, in a very, very different position.
Absolutely. And that sense of urgency, I feel like, from Atlanta, that game against the Eagles, the way they had that turnaround, bringing the game back, the energy that you saw in the field in those last 5 overs really changed that momentum. And I think that even obviously we lost against Atlanta Brumbies, but the last, games that we had this past weekend and from there, I think we've seen, the team really kind of settle down in terms of, how they were performing. And now we're going to kind of get into that round 7. So let me just bring that up. So the game that we had against Saturday, against the Philadelphians, we did win against them in the past. In this game, it went really close. 20 overs, we put up 157. Great batting from Adil and Ravi, and there, as usual, Ravi now has been marked over 500 runs, being the top number 2 batsman in the minor league. And obviously Adil, has been back in the past couple of games and finally getting a good momentum going with the bat. And even when the bowling, Adil had a great performance taking those 3 wickets, Dane taking a wicket. It was just that it was John's day. Honestly, there was nothing I feel like, we went wrong. We had a good number of runs there. So it's like it's unfair to even say, we needed more runs or anything like that. It was just John's day because we even got those wickets, early on. I believe Philadelphians for 44 for like 4 at the moment, and it was just that you couldn't really do much. John didn't give any chances, but I think the boys really performed well in all the departments. And it was, it really looked like the team was putting together. We had the batting there, we had the bowling there. So I just wanted to get your opinions as well. So I know, Baxi, you weren't at this game, but I'm sure you were watching online. So, what were your opinions for this match?
Yeah, I saw the bowling performance 50 for 5, and then I had something to do. So I thought I was confident that we will get the game because Ladda was not there even to bowl yet.
Yeah.
So I was sure that, Ladda would have got the all wickets and we would have got the game in our pocket. But that was actually the very bad day of Ladda, that day particularly. So that sometimes it happens for players. So actually, that caused the game. That's caused
Yeah,
the
I mean,
game.
I think it was just that John, he played smart. He knew his strengths. He knew he
Yeah,
could play.
I heard that from Mustapha Bhai and all others that the guy Jonathan Fu, he played brilliant innings. So credit goes to him, though.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Roshni. I think I closed my eyes when you first asked that question. Right? It's like this is like a nightmare. I'm looking at a
I
nightmare right in
know.
front of me. It was an incredible performance by John. Right? I mean, one of the best innings I've seen in real life. Right?
Yep.
You see stuff like this on the TV, but the way he soaked up all the pressure. He did not put himself under pressure, nor the team. He took all the pressure on himself, took singles
Hmm.
off the pace bowlers. He knew that the pace bowlers were troubling him because of the spongy bounce in the wicket and the slow bounce. So he was just taking singles of them and of the spinners, right? Unfortunately, it was mainly Ladda, our star bowler. He just was trying to basically hit everything, right? And he was connecting on that day. And even
Yep.
his mishits, he mishit a few, right? A lot of them just went high in the air, but they cleared the boundary. So
Exactly.
kudos to him. All credit goes to him. And I wish we could have had that game back, right? We
I
would have
know.
still been in the hunt for the playoffs if we had that game back. But he played an incredible innings, and again, you were there, you saw it.
Yep.
Just it was very, very. I think it kind of broke our team. Our team's backs were kind of broken at the end of it all. I mean, we
Yeah.
were in it till the last over as well, right? It's like we had
Yep.
15 runs to defend in the last over.
Yeah, it
20.
was only two balls left, so they, won with a ball
Yeah,
to spare. So it got really
yeah.
close, but I don't even think there's anything that could have really been changed. I feel like it was just John's day.
It was just
There wasn't
John's day. It's just John's day.
yeah, he didn't give any chance for like a catch, really any big opportunity that, we missed. So we can't even say
Correct.
anything. But, luckily on
Even
this
even
side,
though
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
even though Ladda got hit on that day, but still the game was there up to the last over.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah.
so the team was
Absolutely.
giving good fight,
Yep.
and he played the well. He
He
played
played.
very
He
well.
played very well. Yeah, but
Very
again, this one thing is, Adil Bhatti was standout in that game, right? He played a blinder of innings batting. I
Yep.
think he played very, very freely and got us out to a great start. And then even with the ball, he was awesome. He bowled a great spell, right? So,
Yep.
Yep.
great innings. I mean, great performance by Adil Bhatti in that game.
Yep.
Individual performance. Yep.
Yeah. He
Absolutely.
actually he came back. He came back very well after the Atlanta game. This was the game.
Hmm.
Atlanta game. He got hit for 20 runs in 1 over, and we lost the game. And so he was so sad throughout the flight and all. So he came back and performed very well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was
Right.
good to see that performance, with all his departments. And then Sunday, was definitely really good. I think we really took that momentum from Saturday into Sunday. And the way, we already had lost against the Somerset Cavaliers by a huge margin, and going out there and the way everyone, put in their efforts. Obviously, Ravinder getting his good knock of 68 off of 50, and then Bilal Zia going out there and performing and giving us a show as well. And then obviously with the bowling, Ladda had a bad day on Saturday, but he was back in. Obviously at that time it was just John's day, but Ladda got his 4 wickets, and then we saw a great performance from our youngster Rasesh. He was
Yeah.
great on the field, great with the ball. Last couple of games, I think Rasesh has really made an impact as
He's
well.
very true, Roshi. Very true. I mean, First of all, with the batting, right? Ravi does his thing, right? He's always scoring. He's very consistent.
Hmm.
But with Talal, from a management perspective, we always have had a lot of faith in him. We've seen him score a lot against us personally in games for we play for Potomac, and he's got that big game. Once he bats a few balls, he's got that big game to really take the team to the cleaners if the
Yep.
bowling attack. So he was really good. Unfortunately, we were running around a little bit on that morning to try and get to our game over here. So we were in the car seeing it while we were going to the ground. But as you said, Ladda does his thing. He gets his 3-4 wickets every game. That's why he's right with 29 wickets at top of the table. But Rasesh has been awesome. I think to me, he's always been one of the youngsters who has a lot of potential. Bowls really well. We saw it in Atlanta. I think I saw it on TV in Atlanta when he was in Atlanta. He bowled a spell in that. I forget which game it was exactly, but it was one of the games. Which was probably one of the best spells of bowling. I think it was against the Paramveers itself, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah. He bowled really well, right? And again, in this game, 4 overs for 8 runs and 2 wickets. Incredible, right?
Yep, and getting
He's
Marshall's
been
wicket,
really good.
Marshall's the highest run scorer as well, and he got
Yeah,
two big wickets, from Cavaliers, and obviously that got them 99 all out,
yeah,
so that was a great performance, and I feel like it's just upsetting to see, obviously gutted that, we had the one game left, but it was just the last couple of games, the teams have really,
yeah,
really shown character, but it is what
yeah,
it is. I mean, it's glad to see everyone, now, giving their best, and hopefully we see that
yeah.
even this weekend.
Yeah, and that's the mixed bag feel, right? I was talking about DC Hawks, right? Where first game, we played them in Philadelphia and, we lost pretty badly. I mean, they scored more than 200 against us.
Yep,
After us, restricting them in the first 10 overs, they scored 200 odd runs.
yep.
And then again, we come back and we do this, right? So, yeah, just it's been a little crazy season. It's, if you look at it as an analyst or if you're looking at it from a data perspective, it'll blow your mind, right? It's
Yeah.
tough to put things together.
It is, it is. I mean, that's
Yeah,
why it gets hard, I'm sure, for the management, to be deciding the players. Just because it's been, in terms of the changes and everything. And when you see the team perform and then that same team, have a different day, it gets difficult to really understand, okay, what's going on. Obviously, it can
what
happen
happened?
sometimes, but because it's been happening for a while, it definitely gets really difficult in that standpoint.
Yep,
Who are you going to send at what number and everything. So, but it was a great game. It was good
yep.
to, despite even, obviously losing against Philadelphians, we knew, our chances were pretty much off the cards. But still, the boys coming out there and giving their all is good to see because I think it's better to stay in that middle of the table than try to just, move our way to the bottom because we're still at a good standing.
Yep.
See, one thing, I'll share one thing. Like, in the statistic, the highest wicket taker is from our team.
Yep.
Second highest run maker is from our team. So the tournament and the whole team and everybody who are following minor league, they knows that this DC Hawks players generally when highest wicket taker and the highest run maker is from one team should stood top.
Mm-hmm.
Only from statistic, a layman can see that the 2-3 players were only performing consistently. If we would have added 2 or more 3 players consistent performance, we would have been at top.
Yep.
So that consistency should be there. There is no lack of skill in the team. We
Absolutely.
have a skillful
Yep.
player. Team management is so positive and always supportive.
Exactly.
I played with Potomac, playing still a part of team and with DC Hawks. So team management is there. Only thing player has to identify and analyze how to be a consistent with their skill.
Mm-hmm.
And where there the mental application comes into
Yep.
play.
Yeah, I think, that mental application you keep mentioning, I think that's really, something
Right.
important.
And
I think
so
obviously
like
now
Rasesh,
the
so
players
I
have
was
experienced the
talking
minor league.
last year I was talking with Adil in 2 minor league games. He performed very well with ball and
Mhm.
bat. So I was driving back from Philadelphia with him. So I was saying, man, if you can do in 2 games, then why not in 5 games? So you have to analyze how did you perform in 2 games. if you analyze and understand how did you that, then you can repeat it again and again. But for that, you have to analyze your game. So same with Rushes. If he can bowl 4 overs, gives 8 runs and 2 wickets in one game, then why can't he do in a second game? So he has to analyze what he did in that game, make a note, think, meditate, then visualize it and try to perform again. So out of if this mental application comes again and again, then out of 10, 7 times you can perform again and again. But first you have to know that how did I perform well?
Yeah.
So that analysis is very important, and for that you need to meditate on what happened. Rewind your game. Now they have all games video also, so they can watch it. They can think what I was doing, what I was thinking during that spell. So that application they have to make it note, memorize it, remember it when they go in the ground. Then they can perform again and consistency will come up.
Yep, definitely.
So,
and our last game is going to be against the Yorkers. We've played the Yorkers in the past. We did win, but obviously that rain kind of interrupted the game, so we couldn't play all of it. We luckily ended up on the winning side. And this time around, Smith is going to be back in the squad. So is Andre McCarthy. So, that's definitely something to consider. When they started off their season, they were undefeated until the Philadelphians beat them, and then we beat them. And then since then, they've had a rough patch. But I think, this is obviously it's our last game, but I think we want to end up on a good note. So, I mean, Mustafa, how in terms of the management, how are we going to keep the boys motivated? Obviously, they know that the playoffs are off the card, but I think we still want them to perform and give their all, So how are we going to try to motivate them and make sure that they understand it's, even though we're out of the tournament, this is a game that we still need to win?
Yeah. No, I think, we don't want to be a middling team, right? Where, we're going to be 8-8. We don't want to lose this last game. And I don't think the Manhattan Yorkers are coming there to lose as well, right? Even they are out of it. Both the teams are out of it. I think it's just playing for pride right now. And there are some personal records on the line, right? Ravi's got the chance to get to the top of the table because Xavier Marshall's finished playing his games, right? If I'm not mistaken, I don't think they play any more games, right? I think they're done with 16 games. So there are some, personal milestones on the table here to be taken. And I think if everyone comes in and plays freely, there's no pressure anymore, right? So if they can just come and play freely, I think you saw that against the Somerset Cavaliers. There was no pressure. They came, played freely, and really put up a good performance. So I think if our boys do what they need to do, I feel we are probably, unfortunately, the results don't say it, but I still feel that we're probably one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, right? So we should be able to get past that team. They have a great squad as well, right? Andre McCarthy, as you said, Smith Patel, Gajanand is doing duties for the US.
He's away. So Shane is there, Shane Dorwich.
Yep. They got a lot of good guys, right? Saudhan Patel, I think he played pretty decently against us.
Yeah, and Guranshu Sharma is their leading run scorer for them.
Guranshu is there, and they got two good medium pacers, right? Who've been really, really consistent with the ball.
Yep.
But again, I think if our guys come to the game, play without any pressure, and there is no pressure, right? So at this point in time, it's like a friendly game. You go out there and have fun, right? And I'm pretty confident our guys will do a great job.
Yep. And then Baxi, the match is going to be played on a matting wicket. It's going to be played in New Jersey before it was supposed to be in New York. So who could we see from DC Hawks, be someone that will perform or we might expect to perform based off of how things have been looking? Who is someone, whether it's with the bat or the ball?
Yeah, Ladda, of course, with the ball, and I'm seeing Ravi and Sunny both pitching up.
Okay.
Because Sunny, Sunny himself has every game he has, start up well, and somehow or other he got out with scoring big scores. Sunny is always a reliable man to go with. So I'm expecting these three, and from local, I'm expecting Adil to again come up.
Yeah. I'm going to add that. I think I'm expecting Dane to have a big game. right? To wrap it up, right? I think
Yeah.
he's done a good job. He's been especially good against the left-handers. I think he did
Hmm.
a great job even in the last game, excepting for that last over where we were
Yeah.
defending the 15. Otherwise, he
Yeah.
had done a phenomenal job. And again, as we also said, Jonathan Fu played a great innings.
Hmm.
So, credit to him. But, I'm expecting Dane to do a lot.
Yeah.
And, if Sahil gets that opportunity, I feel that even he will do a good job. And
Yep.
similarly with Dalal, right? I think there's no pressure on these guys. And I'm hoping that Ravi has a big game and gets to top of the table with the bat as well.
Exactly.
I mean, I
Yep.
know it sounds a little selfish here, but if we can get to having the top batsman and the top bowler in the league, it'll at least shows good for the DC
I
Hawks
mean,
because I
it's
think we should
exactly, it's a
definitely
win for the team. You know, it's
for the
it's good
team,
for the team.
good for the team,
Exactly.
100%, 100%. There's a
100,
some positive coming out of it, right? And
Yep.
I think we want to finish on a winning note. And it's a long off season, so we'll take that win. And there's work to do in the off season, so we'll hopefully end up on a winning note.
Absolutely.
No, that will definitely put an impact on US cricket through DC Hawks. Like DC Hawks means minor league is getting all big players from all over the world. Even Dan is also one of them, and we have our two players who, if they are on top of the table, definitely it will show that where we are, and it
Hmm.
will definitely motivate the locals to come up,
Yep.
and they have to for next year, because this is a which is an opportunity to prove themselves at a US level. So yeah, we are looking forward for Ladda and Ravi to be on the top, and my support will be there. Our chanting Hari Bol. I'm going to support them fully to get on top,
Yep. We
and
always need that.
I'm hoping they are going to make that.
Definitely. And we always need that support.
Yeah.
So last question I have, Mustafa. So obviously with the season ending, what are some things that we can look forward to from the DC Hawks? I know the academy and everything is also starting up. So until next season, are there any plans that you can reveal? If not, we'll keep them aside.
Yeah, I think it's one is the academy for sure, right? So I think that's something exciting for everyone involved here, like Bakshi Bhai, uh, Rajat, the owner, right? Rajat Paji, the owner of the team. I mean, he's been phenomenal as an owner, right? I mean,
Yep.
he's lived through each and every game, right? The disappointments as well as the positives coming out of every game. So, it's been, so I think, we have a little bit of work going back to the drawing board as well to better prepare for next season. I mean, again, this is the first season. There's a lot of things we are learning as well as a management team, as well as managing a team at the minor league level, right? I
Yep.
mean, I look at this as a parallel to the IPL. So there's a lot of things we have learned while through this whole journey, and I'm sure we'll do a much better job of next year. But most important is the team and the composition. So I think that's something we really have to carefully look at because this is a international competition now, right? It's being televised on TV, YouTube. You've got all the coverage possible, and we want to definitely be a part of that winning squad
Exactly.
with a
But I
winning
want to thank
mentality.
both of you for, being on our pre-show. It's our last pre-show. I know the season went by so fast, honestly. It just feels like it started yesterday and we're already at the end.
Yeah,
But yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to get to the playoffs, but I'm sure DC Hawks will come back bigger and stronger next year.
Yeah, make
yeah,
make
no,
a note. This is
sure.
not an end.
Definitely
This
not
is
an
a
end. It's only the
starting.
start.
This is a starting of a new chapter
Hmm.
and a new season, because we are getting our academy here, and I'm sure we are going to get our local ready for the next season, mentally and skillful, using their skills with mental application for the next season. So whoever are watching and all supporters of our DC Hawks, thanks for support. Keep continue, and little sorry for this year. Next year we are coming with a big punch. Hari ball.
Absolutely, Haribol. Go DC
Yep,
Hawks.
yep. Your DC Hawks, Haribol. Firstly,
Yeah.
thank you for all that you've done. I think you've been phenomenal as well, right? Not
Yeah.
just on the pre-shows, but as a part of the team, sending out all the analysis. I don't know if I'm opening the bag now, but you've been phenomenal. You have been phenomenal. So, kudos to you. I think, you've become a part of the team and, again, you've lived through it yourself. So,
Hmm.
I'm sure that you are as disappointed as all of us. But again, as Bakshi said, right, to all our supporters, we really gave it our all. We tried hard. And, again, looking forward to a bigger and better and stronger performance next season. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you.
I know it's been an amazing experience to be a part of the DC Hawks family. And that's why I'm just like, it's sad that it's finally ending because we've spent so many weekends together. But, that's it's just the first season. So many more to
First season.
come.
Many more to come. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you, Roshni.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Rajat bhai. Hari ball.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.